Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a foundation review and wear test. And the foundation that we're going to be testing today is by Woola, and it's the Serum Foundation, and I really hope I'm saying that right. I received this PR package a couple of weeks ago when I received several shades of foundation, and I had no communication with the company, so I didn't really know that this was coming. And I received it, and I was very curious because I hadn't heard much about the brand. I got on YouTube, and I found some videos, and I found some blog posts on this foundation. I have worn this a couple of times, and so I do have an opinion on this foundation already, but I really wanted to show you how it applies, show you the coverage, wear it throughout the day, check in with you guys, and really break it down and show you how this wears over the course of a full day. I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, I do like this foundation. I'm still kind of forming my opinion on how much I like it. Like, is it a foundation that I love, or is it a foundation that's a good foundation, but maybe not so much for this type of skin or this type of skin? I feel like there's some foundations that I just like love, that I just can like full-heartedly say, this foundation is awesome and I know you'll love it. And then there's some foundations where I'm like, this is really good if you have skin like this, or this would be really good, you know, if you have these types of skin concerns, but maybe not so much if you have skin like this. So I'm still trying to decide what this foundation, where this foundation falls. You know what I mean? Is it a foundation that is amazing, that I want to scream from the rooftops, like, I love this foundation? Or is this a foundation that is, you know, kind of middle of the road, or where this really falls? So this video is going to be a really good test for me too, to check in and really force myself to give this foundation kind of my full thoughts. So that's what we're going to do today. Before we get started, we'll kind of go through the basics of the foundation. So I got several shades. They're numbered. So I got shades 4, 5, and 6. I also got a shade 3, but I gave it to my neighbor because I knew that was too light. And I'm still determining which shade I am between these, but I think we're going to go with 5. So this is what the foundation looks like. It comes in this really pretty frosted glass bottle. It's very like luxury looking. If you're someone that cares a lot about packaging, this is a nice package. I mean, I guess I can appreciate a pretty package, but that's not going to necessarily sell me on a foundation. It does have a pump, so that's a bonus. It comes with 1 fluid ounce, and I looked online. This is available on their website for $49. It looks like it was sold on Amazon at one point, but now it says it's unavailable. So I think the only place you could get this, and I'm sure you can get this other places, but the easiest, most direct place that you can get this is on their website. And again, it retails for $49. So it is a higher price point foundation. So I do kind of have high expectations when I'm spending that much on a foundation. Like, I'm expecting it to be like an amazing, high quality, knock my socks off foundation. So I want to read you the description that it says on the box. It says it's a lightweight, medium to full coverage foundation that glides on smoothly and can be layered for a flawless, airbrushed appearance with a youthful radiance. Okay, so medium to full coverage, sounds like it's buildable, and a youthful radiance. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe a bit of a glow. This serum-like formula includes a bioactive proprietary complex of vitamins, marine extracts, and holistic botanical-derived ingredients that works to help rejuvenate and moisturize the skin while diminishing the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and pores, as it controls oil, I like that, and provides antioxidant protection. Once it's on, thanks to a balanced formula that allows for long-lasting all-day coverage. Okay, well, this sounds like the perfect foundation. Medium to full coverage, skincare benefits, long wearing, controls oil. Okay, I'm kind of sold on that, but you know, they all say that, so let's really see how this foundation performs. Okay, I am gonna, let me actually show you what all these shades look like on my hand so you can get an idea. So I'm going to start with the lightest to the darkest. And again, I got shades 4, 5, and 6 here. So that's what they are. So 4 is at the bottom, 5 is in the middle, and 6 is at the top. So I do feel for these foundations being, you know, lighter than the next, medium the next, I feel like they do transition well. Do you know how sometimes you go to the foundation counter and you try on one shade and it's too light for you, and then you try on the very next one and it's way too dark for you, and you're like, okay, something's not right here with this shade range? I feel like this is a good shade range. And they're all consecutively like levels of light to dark, and they have a nice like subtle difference. So I feel like that's good. I'm actually going to go with 6. I haven't tried 6 on yet. So we're going to go with 6. Okay, so what I have done to my skin so far, I have concealer. Clearly I have a little moisturizer. Clearly I have a little mascara on my lower lashes. I have moisturizer. What did I use today? Today I used Beauty Counter Adaptive Moisture Lotion, and then I used Hourglass primer, the Mineral Veil Primer. I did read in the little pamphlet that this came with, that it said to try it with or without a primer. Sometimes you might not need a primer. The first day I wore it, I felt like I needed a primer. Like I felt like it might have worn better if I had a primer, because it did kind of get a little bit shinier sooner than I would have liked it. And so we're going to take one. I'm going to take one pump. I want to show you the consistency. You can see that it's pretty liquidy. It's really like clearly running down my hand there. Okay, and I'm going to use the Beauty Blender to apply it. And I'm just going to kind of start in the center of my face, and we're going to work this into the skin. I'm going to apply it with a Beauty Blender on one side and a brush on the other, because I've only applied it with a brush, and I want to see how it compares to a Beauty Blender. Okay, so this shade is quite yellow. I do think it'll work for me though, but it is quite a bit more yellow than the shades I've used before. Ugh, my eyes are so red, you guys. I have pretty dry eye. Like I go to an eye doctor. I've been on Restasis drops for a couple years, but I had to go back to the eye doctor last week because I'm like, I need more than this. Like it's not helping. So now I'm on this whole like eye care regimen of Restasis and then a Sustain drop 6 times a day. And then I took some type of prescription that's supposed to help. Like apparently the oil glands in my eyelids aren't secreting like the oil that keeps your eyeball lubricated. And so that's my problem. So to me, this looks pretty natural to medium coverage. I can still see my skin poking through. I have these tiny little sunspots that I can still see right now through the foundation. But again, applying it with a Beauty Blender is going to give a little bit more of a natural finish than applying it with the brush. So I'm going to go and add a little bit more. We're going to start over here on the forehead and add more here in the center of the face. Okay, so this definitely is more of a radiant finish foundation. This definitely does give a bit of a glow to the skin. It looks very nice though and healthy. It almost looks like your skin looks right after you apply moisturizer. Just kind of radiant, healthy, supple. This color is definitely too yellow. I should have gone with shade 5. So before I apply the left side, I really want you to be able to see the difference between the two sides of my face. So this is with foundation and this is with nothing. So clearly it gives some decent coverage. I wouldn't say that this is going to give you full coverage though. At least by my definition of full coverage, I don't think that this is going to be it, because I did build it and I can still see my skin poking through, but I don't mind that. Like I actually like this coverage of foundation quite a bit. I'm not a real big full coverage girl. I feel like when you go for full coverage, you're often compromising like a natural look. And I think that this gives me the amount of coverage. So even though it's not full, I'm not like complaining about that. I just want to disclose that if you think that this is going to be full coverage, I don't think that it will. I mean, possibly you could build it until you get that, but I just have a feeling it would look very, very heavy if you did. Okay, so we're going to go in on the left side and we're going to use shade 6. And this time I'm going to apply it with a brush. I'm going to use the IT Cosmetics dual-ended brush. This is one of my favorite foundation brushes. And I can already tell that I think I'm going to like applying this foundation with a brush over a Beauty Blender, because I feel like I'm going to get better coverage and not have to use as much product. And I'm definitely going to say that this shade is a little too dark. I should have stuck with 5, but at least now I know. Yeah, the brush for me is the way to go. I really like this brush a lot because it does give pretty good coverage. Like if you see the shape of it, it's nice, dense, and round. So it's going to do a good job of giving coverage, but it's also got these really soft bristles that's just going to help you like buff out and sheer out the edges so you don't end up with that line around the face. So I do feel like it dries rather quickly. I mean, you have some time to work with it, but initially at first application, it's a serum foundation and it feels like you're going to have a little more time than you actually do. So I would probably apply one side at a time. So if you're one of those people that likes to kind of like dot the foundation all over the face and then go out and blend it, for this particular one, I would probably recommend just like working in sections. So apply it where you are going to work first, blend that out, and then go and apply the rest. Now we have it applied on both sides. Definitely for me, the brush is the way to go. I feel like I have the same amount of coverage on the left side as I do on the right, but I applied less product. I also feel like it just looks a little bit smoother and prettier. So I'm going to stick with the brush application for a future. And actually, look at this. I still have half of that pump left. So on the right side, I used a Beauty Blender and I used a full pump plus like another half of a pump. And on the left side, I really didn't even use a full pump and I still got the same amount of coverage and less product. So there we are with that. Okay, I'm going to look in this mirror and I'm going to really kind of describe what I am seeing here. So I think that it looks really nice. I do think that the left side looks better too in terms of my skin just looking a little bit softer. I feel like the texture around my cheeks here on my right side is a little more noticeable than it is on my left side. So again, I think that's with application. But it looks really good. The coverage is a good solid medium. It does give a little bit of a radiance, but I don't feel like it's like overly shiny or overly dewy. So if you're someone that likes or that doesn't like a really glowy look, you might still like this one because it's not going to give you that really extreme like glow. I guess a little bit of a radiance is the best way to describe it. It just looks like your skin looks, like if you have perfect skin, it just looks like your skin looks after you apply moisturizer and it's sat on the skin for about 10 minutes. You know, it has that really subtle glow. That's kind of what it looks like right now. So it looks a little bit heavier on the forehead. You can kind of see the texture on my forehead and I feel like it is kind of settling there. But overall, I think it's really pretty and really nice. So I am going to set the center of my face with a little bit of powder, but other than that, I'm going to try and keep it really light. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the rest of my makeup, and I'll be right back. All right, so we are back. All of my makeup is on, and I have to say I am really loving this look. I did film a tutorial on this look, and I believe that is going to go up before this video goes up. So if that's the case, I will link it down below for if you want to see exactly what I did as far as my shadow and lips and all of that. But let me tell you what the foundation looks like, because when I was applying my makeup, and it had time to kind of set, I did set it with a little bit of the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, mainly under my eyes, which is where my concealer was, but then also around my nose. And I just want to kind of tell you how things look now. So it has kind of set to more of a full coverage, which is very odd, but it does look a little bit more of a full coverage, a little bit more made up than it did when I was first done applying it. It looks very pretty though, and it still has that radiance. The radiance has kind of subsided a little bit in terms of it not being as glowy looking, but it still has like a very pretty natural radiance. I have to say that after about 10 minutes, I liked the finish of it even more so than right after I applied it. So that's what we are looking at. I do think that it is kind of starting to settle right here in this line. Let me get up close so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But do you see? Kind of settling there a little bit. That is a deep set line though, and foundations unfortunately are going to do that. But I think it looks really good. It looks really nice right now. Again, it's been on for like 30 minutes. Let's really give this a good go for the day. It is currently 10:36 a.m. and I am I have a full day. So I'm going to be working around the house a little bit and then picking up kids, carpooling to gymnastics and choir and all this stuff. I'll be a mom on the go this afternoon. So I'm going to check in with you guys and kind of let you know how we are looking probably every 3 to 4 hours or so. All right, you guys? See you in just a bit. Hey guys, so it's 3:21. We just got home from gymnastics and I took a quick peek in the mirror to kind of assess how the foundation looks, and it looks really, really good still. I have not touched up, so it has been about 5 hours. I meant to check in with you guys earlier, but I was in charge of carpool today, so I had a few other kids in the car, and I don't ever want to put kids in YouTube videos without their parents' permission, so I waited until I was home. So everything looks really good. There is one area of concern right here on the nose. I don't know if you can see, I'm going to get in a little closer. Right here on the nose, it is separating and breaking up quite a bit, but the more and more I looked at that, it looks kind of more of like an application error on my part, because it doesn't look like, I don't know if you can even see, but it's like really bare. There's like no foundation right here. So where it's gathering, I think I just didn't do a good job of blending it out there, because it really does look good everywhere else. I haven't touched it with powder or anything, and it still looks really nice. I am going to go ahead and touch up now, because it's reaching that point where I feel like it could help to touch up, and if I don't, then I can see it kind of going south. But overall, it looks really good. So I'm just going to kind of show you guys. Hi, Levy.
I'm just getting the iPad.
No iPad, my Levy. No iPad right now. Oh, do you want to do your Osmo game?
No.
You can have the iPad if you want to do Osmo games.
I don't know where the iPad is.
I don't either. I think Daddy took it with him. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to show you guys how it looks. But yeah, the only area that just looks a little off, well, not a little off, looks bad, is right here on the nose. But again, I think that was an application error. So yeah, so I'm going to check in with you guys in a few more hours and let you know how things are looking.
Auntie, that's out!
She's on the hoverboard. She's so cute on this thing. She gets on it on her knees, because I won't let her get on it standing up because she's too little. And she just like zooms around the house on it. It's adorable. Nice.
Where was it? Is it, Mommy?
I don't know. I saw it over here earlier. Maybe I put it upstairs. What do you think? Where you going, monkey? Hey guys, it is almost 10 p.m. It's like 9:45, so the foundation has been on for almost 12 hours, 11 hours, is that right? I did just touch it up. I wanted to kind of tell you how things are looking. So a couple of hours ago, I noticed that it was kind of separating and breaking up right here, like right here on my cheeks and then around my nose, but that was really the only area that it was. And then it occurred to me that that's where I put the primer. When I put the Hourglass primer on, I just concentrated in that area. So I'm thinking that that might be part of the reason why it's doing that there, because I've worn this foundation a couple of other times and I've never really noticed it separating on me. But overall, I mean, it still looks really good. However, I'm gonna get in it a little closer. It is, you know, I mean, you can see it kind of like settling inside my pores and right around my nose. It's just not very pretty. Like, it's not bad looking, but when you really look close up to it, you notice it. You know, I wouldn't want to walk around all day looking like this. I did just powder it, so what you're seeing now is freshly powdered and touched up. I've touched up 3 times today. I mean, there definitely were periods where I got really shiny and like touching up was like necessary for sure. So I think it is a long wear foundation, but it does require some, you know, maintenance throughout the day. I think it's really pretty. I'm kind of surprised that it's like separating in my pores and around my nose so much that makes me want to try this another day before I upload this video. So I want to try this one more day this week, and this time I will not apply a primer. I'll just apply it on moisturized skin, and then I'll check in with you at the end of the day to see how it compares to it with a primer, because when I was reading the information on it, it did say something about trying it with and without. So I think I'm going to do that. So yeah, that's kind of where we are at for day 1 of this check-in. But it is late. Well, it's not that late actually. It's not even 10 o'clock. But I've been trying to get to bed earlier because I have had fallen into this really bad routine of going to bed so late, waking up so early, and I'm too old to be doing that. I need my sleep, so I'm going to try and get down there and get to sleep. So I'll just check in with you guys later this week when I can give this foundation another go. All right, good night, guys. Hey guys, so it is a separate day from when I filmed the first foundation review. I have had the foundation on for about 10 hours. I applied it about 8 a.m. this morning, and it's now about 6 p.m., a little after 6, like 6:30. And I did not apply primer this morning. That was the one thing that I did differently today than from what I did the first day, and I like it better. It still is kind of gathering around the nose area, and it does look a little heavy here. Similar to last time, but not as bad. I think definitely if you choose to go with this foundation, I would opt out of using a primer, or at least I use the Mineral Veil primer. I can't speak to all primers clearly, but that particular primer didn't play well with this. I will say that this foundation, I would probably give it, let's see, if I would give it like a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, I would probably give it a 7, a 6 or a 7. It's a good foundation. I want to go back to what I said the other day and say that I do think this gives more coverage than I gave it credit for the other day. I do think this could be a full coverage foundation. It definitely has the look of a full coverage, like kind of heavier foundation. It does give the skin a very kind of flawless, like natural satin. Oops, there's my neighbor looking at me with my camera. It does give the skin a pretty like natural satin finish. You know, it doesn't look like dry and matte, but it's not really dewy or glowy, but it does look pretty made up. It's not, when I say a natural satin finish, I don't mean that it's a natural looking foundation, because I wouldn't go there. It's definitely more of a full coverage, higher medium to full coverage foundation. Is this a foundation that I'm going to go for often? I don't know that it is, you guys. Sadly, I hate to say that, but it's a pretty foundation. I just don't think that it's pretty as the day progresses, and it's not a foundation that I feel confident in 10 hours later. And I did touch up several times today. I think it is a very pretty foundation when you first apply it, and it would be gorgeous for like a night out, because it does give the skin a flawless, you know, good coverage finish. But as far as like putting it on in the morning and, you know, coming back 10 hours later and looking at it, I think that, I don't know, there's just a little too much gathering here than I would like, but it is a beautiful foundation. So it's beautiful, but as far as long wearing, it just didn't work out for me as far as a long wearing foundation. So that is my opinion of this foundation. I hope you guys found this helpful. Leave all your questions down below, and I will be sure to answer what I can. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!